For this video, I thought we'd look at the type of questions that would come up in a Level 1 paper. The things that I say here are also relevant to the Level 2 paper as well. So, the reason that we look at the question papers themselves is because we can identify the type of questions that might come up in the actual assessment. We can identify areas that they cover and any problems that you might encounter in the actual assessment itself. The source document is in part of the zipped pack, so it might be an idea as while you are watching this video is that you open up the source documents from the zip pack from the website, the City and Guilds website, and you can have a look at that as we go through. So here we go. Let's have a look at some of the questions that may come up. Oh, just before we do, some very useful general information in the exam, time, maximum marks, and also some general instructions. For the reading, you do not need to write incomplete sentences because it's reading. It's marking your reading, not your writing. So that's something. And also dictionaries are allowed. Okay, first paper will give you the scenario, which is the made-up situation that the questions are based around. Always read the scenario because it might give you an idea as to what type of texts will come up. We also give the actual types of texts in the document itself at Level 1, a web page in this case, and a leaflet, and you'll find those in the other document in the zipped folder. Okay, let's have a look at some of these questions and see what we can come up with. First couple of questions within the reading assessment will probably be based on fairly straightforward comprehension. That means that it'll ask you a question that you'll be able to find within the text, and the skill that you will display is being able to read the text and find the appropriate place where those questions are answered. In general, the first number of questions are fairly straightforward to ease the student into the paper itself, but we often have students who miss a couple of marks in these sections by not answering the question fully. So in this case, the first question is name 3 water sports you can try at Jupiter Lake. If you have a look at the texts, I believe that there are 3 separate water sports that are all under headings that are in bold and in columns in the middle of the page. 3 of those, of course, not written in sentences. You do not have to paraphrase. You can simply state the water sports themselves. I believe one of them is canoeing. You put the 3 in your answers, and then you have an easy 3 marks to get you started. And that's usually the same through every paper. It's usually the same that each of the reading papers will start with a fairly straightforward comprehension question. Also, in general, the general rule is that the papers start with fairly simplistic, straightforward questions and then move on to more complicated questions. Let's have a look again. There's 3 things you will need to take with you to the centre if you are doing any water sports. Once again, this is a typical information retrieval question. You simply read the paper and try to find the information within the text. It's straightforward. The information will be there. There are no tricks with these types of questions. The only thing that people tend not to do is to read the question fully or read the text fully. If you don't read the entire text, then the information that you might need might be right at the end and you might miss it. So please try to read the entire text as you answer these fairly straightforward comprehension questions. Question number 3. What are 3 activities you can do if the weather is too bad to go outside? Once again, it's the same thing. The information will be there within the text, and it'll be up to you to find it and then transpose it to get your marks. Now, these are interesting questions because the style of question is changed slightly. What is one type of accommodation you could book if you want to stay at Lake Mill Water Sports Centre? The inclusion of that word one, or that phrase one type, suggests that there are a series of different types of accommodation that you can use. This will be the case if you have a look in the text document, document 1 in the folder. So you have to be careful to make sure that you only include one document. You don't need to write a list of all the documents because you're only getting, if we have a look here, 1 mark from the mark scheme. So don't waste your time if it is not needed. Now, what we have underneath here is we have a